you have to get to the point where you don't give as many forks, right? When the estrogen has left the building, where you're like, I don't really give a shit. That's awesome.
And I like how Naomi in the book was, and this was part of the thing that I was kind of alluding to in the beginning with her celebrity, because aging as a woman in Hollywood,
Oh, hell.
that's a
To the
fate worse
max.
than death. And she went into early menopause. So that's even a double whammy for her because, that really was like a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Right? Because she's like, if I'm not this vibrant and fertile young woman, what am I? What does that mean about me as a woman? And I think too, I know we feel this way sometimes, but like when you do go through menopause, you grieve that part of your life, I think. Like, I did. Not that I wanted to have babies in my 40s and 50s, but that part's over and it'll never be back. Welcome to Drinks with the Girls. Conversations for women over 40 around connection, change, and the power of female friendship. Living well with stories to tell. I'm Karen, and this is Lisa.
We are moms and solopreneurs stepping into our own, diving into real conversations about things that matter to women in midlife.
We're here to spill the tea on everything that affects women in their 40s and beyond. Topics like loss and grief, changing relationships, launching kids, menopause, and reinventing ourselves in midlife. We are here to tackle it all.
Connect with us through a blend of our lived experiences, our friendship, the memory of our moms, plus a collection of real stories, honest conversations, and engaging interviews that will make women over 40 feel seen and remind them that they're not alone on this journey called life. Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of Drinks with the Girls. This is an episode you guys are going to love because you love our book reviews. So we are reviewing a book today on menopause because menopause is finally having its moment, right? After decades of women being made to feel like they're crazy when they go into their doctor's offices and say, what's happening? And they're like, well, it's just all a part of aging. Suck it up, buttercup. No, we're not doing that
Literally,
anymore.
in some cases.
So Naomi Watts, you may know her as from her movies, her films, but she wrote a book and she is a menopause advocate. Her book is called, Dare I Say It? Everything I Wish I'd Known About Menopause. And we read it, we recommend it, and we're going to dive in. But before we get going, we're going to tell you what we're drinking because that's what we do. And today I'm drinking Magnificent Wine Co. Rosé Bubbles.
Ooh,
magnificently
fancy.
Fresh and light.
Oh, I think I've had something similar to that. Yeah, because I was talking about the wine in the can joke that French guy does. He goes off on wine in the can. It's pretty freaking good. It's pretty freaking good.
Yes, full transparency. I was expecting to hate it.
Just saying.
And it's delicious. I do need some ice now because it's gotten warm. But yeah, but it's 12.5%.
Well, there you go.
Good luck, listeners.
Boom shakalaka. Just add some THC in there and we'll be ready to go. I am drinking a combo. I hit the last of my homemade strawberry syrup, although I just made more. And I threw it in with some hop water, blood orange hop water. They just came out with some new flavors. I got variety pack. Although I was actually talking with our good friend of the podcast, Andrea Smati, the other day. She did the episode on neuroscience because she was the one that turned us on to hop water. They came out with, I swear to God, I am not making this up, pickle pink lemonade flavor.
Ew.
Thank you. And I was like, I emailed her. I'm like, what's up with this? She goes, there's no earthly way. I'm like, I know you're the hop water fanatic, but I was like, oh, hell no. She goes, no. Pickles and lemonade? Like, I like me like a pickle potato chip. I like pickles in my tuna salad. Like, I'm not saying I don't like the pickle thing, and I like pink lemonade. But there was nothing on my bingo card that ever thought that those two flavors should be combined in any way.
Certain things don't belong together.
Just saying. Gross. Anyways,
although listeners, if you want to taste it and let us know how
tell
it
us. If you're like, you people are crazy, it's the best thing ever. You're weird, but okay, no, I'm kidding. We'd like to know.
That's okay. We love your weird.
Yeah, let your freak flag fly.
That's right.
Say that 30 times fast.
So, the book, Dare I Say It? It's part memoir, part education. I learned a lot, and I feel
totally.
like I've learned a lot over the past couple years about menopause and things, but I learned a lot. And then it's also part drinks with the girls, girlfriend conversation,
Yep.
which we love, right? And I think maybe that's one of the reasons that, women are really connecting with the book.
Yeah, I really liked it. Karen, can I out you about when you read it, or do you want me to lie and say
You can out
read
me.
it?
No,
Okay. So Karen read it on the plane, coming back from a girls' weekend.
Today.
Going back and coming back, right? It took me a while, and the tape flags were flying. Talk about flying your freak flags. But I think it was because there was so much good information. Like, when I started, I was like, okay, fine. Like, I like her. I'd love to hear her take. But it never really occurred to me that she'd have so much science-backed stuff in there. I mean, she interviews Mary Claire Haver, does the foreword. Like, she interviews so many experts in the field. The resources are insane, y'all. They're so good. And every chapter has like a summary at the end. And then at the back, she has, what does she call it? Something cute. Something about a Rolodex. Oh, yeah. So she basically, in addition to notes, she has an expert's Rolodex. And so she goes through it and like, hello, it's 2.5 pages, essentially, of the experts that she's literally interviewed and quoted in the book and what their specialties are. So she did her homework for sure. And she definitely talks about her own experience. But what I really liked about that part is that she kind of takes you on the journey. I think that's been one of the themes of the books that we reviewed is you're not like sitting on high, like pontificating, like Naomi Watts and some of the other people we've done books on, takes you through the journey of like where she was, and she talks about why she wrote the book. So yeah, I'm excited to dive into this. It was pretty cool.
I kind of likened it to the Brooke Shields book just a little bit.
Yep.
Just in their celebrity.
Yeah.
And I think it's, talking about things like this and talking about things like Brooke was talking about in terms of like aging and just different things that happened during her life. It's like there's another level. And Naomi has a whole chapter on shame. But like
that
just,
was a great
the
chapter.
shame. Yeah, just the shame around, different things that we experience as a woman and as girls, right? Because shame starts early. But yeah, just her vulnerability and just her candor, and everything. I really appreciated it. And because it made her very relatable.
Yeah. And there was a theme that I thought it was just so powerful because she talks about all sorts of stuff that happened to her and like the doctor she went to and blah, 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 blah. But this theme is about like no one is putting together the idea that all of this stuff that's seemingly random is menopause, 100% due to the plummet of estrogen in menopause. And so she gives an example of all these doctors she went to and tests and this and that. And she's like, it was solved with a single tube of estrogen cream. Like, for real, like months of suffering. And so this is kind of, to me, a reoccurring theme in the book, just about how kind of nobody's connecting all the dots and putting it together. And only now are people like Mary Claire Haver and some of the other experts that she quotes talking about just how many things that women experience at this age are straight up the result of menopause. So I found that fascinating.
Yeah. And when I started looking into HRT for myself, it was probably between 2 to 3 years ago. It was just for symptom relief. I'm like, it was quality of life issue, right? I wasn't trying to like help my bones or help my heart, or help my brain. But guess what? It does. HRT helps your bones. It helps your heart. It helps your brain. And so that's like, the ice cream, the whipped cream on top of the
cherry,
the sundae.
Or no, the cherries on top of the whipped cream. What am I saying? Well, and I actually remember we were interviewing another Naomi Major, on our HRT episode, and I remember you saying something to the effect of, yeah, I've looked into this, but there's a lot of stuff I can't do because I have such a high breast cancer risk. And she went off about all this stuff with that study. And Naomi Watts talks about it too, just what a freaking disservice that did to the women of the world. So we'll talk a little bit about that at any rate.
Have you ever read another menopause book before?
I feel like we read one. No, I guess we didn't. I thought we reviewed one, but we didn't. No, I have not. This was a good first.
I had Mary Claire Haver's The Galveston Diet, and I wish it wasn't that titled because it's not a diet per se.
Yeah, that's what it seems like to me. I was like, oh no, I don't really want to read another diet book.
Yeah. But that's how I first, started learning about it. But, I didn't read the whole thing. It was pretty thick. I just picked and chose what I felt related to me. And then, because this was your idea, you wanted to read this book. So what made you think? What made
Why'd
think
you
I
read
was
this
gonna
book,
love
Coricella? What?
Yeah.
Check
What were
the
you
themes
thinking?
out. Yeah, I really like the idea that a celebrity was coming out and being so vulnerable, much like the Brooke Shields book that we read, but was just being straight up out there with it. I mean, I didn't know she had a beauty company. There was just a lot about her I didn't know. Like, I knew her work, but not that I wasn't a fan, but I hadn't really seen a lot of her movies. But I thought this vibe of like, dare I, right? She was basically like, watch me. And that really hooked me, just in terms of this would be really interesting to see from the viewpoint of a woman who is so out in the public eye dealing with what we are all dealing with. And I didn't know what to expect, but I thought, given kind of the aura of the book and the marketing, I mean, it was definitely going to be like, yeah, I'm blowing the lid off. And of course, I'm always there for the revolution. So that's why.
Well, I have to be honest. When I first started seeing her, I would see her company on Instagram because, I'm an Instagram girly. When I heard about her book before, you mentioned it. And I'm like, oh, great. Another celebrity hopping
Yep.
on the
Yep.
bandwagon, meh, meh. But I was very impressed with the book. Like you said, there's so much stuff to back everything up. There's so, it's not like, yeah, she's giving you her story, which is powerful also and relatable, but also she's talked to all these people
Yeah.
who know their shit. And so it's like, okay, good job.
I mean,
well
I
done.
gotta believe that Mary Claire Haver doesn't do the forwards for just anyone. Like she doesn't seem to me to be the kind of person to be like, ooh, celebrity, So that kind of gave it the stamp of authenticity for me too. So, like I said, there's a big theme for me just about this idea of there's all these things going on, nobody puts it together, and then she also really talks about the silence around menopause, right? Like, raise your hand if your mom told you about menopause. No, I said, I don't know, a couple episodes ago about my godmother and her saying, this is never like, forget the sex talk. Like this was never happening because they didn't really understand it. And also you were made to feel shame about it. It was just like, yep, you're there in dried up old hag land. So haha, make some jokes about hot flashes. So
You're exactly right. And, sadly, I think my mom died. I don't know if my mom was in menopause or not. She died at 51 and she spent the last 3 years of her life in chemo. So, that messes that up. But nobody taught me about anything. You just, whatever you see on the Golden Girls I never thought it was like, I never thought there were so many medical implications behind menopause.
Well, I don't think anybody did because, again, nobody's researching us as whole ass women that are, built differently than men.
Yeah.
Like there's some quote, and I'll have to find it, but one of the experts, I think it's Dr. Sharon Malone, basically talks about one of the meds, I can't remember what it is, and makes a point that we've made before, which is basically like, if this like shrunk up men's testicles, there would be research on this for days, well funded forever. But again, right? Not sexy. Nobody cares. And I do think our generation has really led the battle cry with this. Like, I just feel like this generation has been the first to be like, nope. Are we surprised? Gen X rocks, right? No offense to all the other generations that are on this podcast, but yeah, but like, I love that we are all just like, nope, hard pass. There's got to be a way around this. And that's what's pushing the conversation, I think. And she's Gen X, so.
And I think too, like, because I think a lot of women are like me. So, when you think of menopause, you think of hot flashes, right? That's the number one thing you think of.
Yep.
And that was my main issue. It's like, I cannot freaking sleep and I hate being hot and sweaty all the time.
Yep.
And not realizing my brain fog.
Yeah.
The insomnia, obviously.
Yep.
Anxiety. Like, I've never had anxiety in my life.
Yeah.
And then, hello, menopause, anxiety, right? Of course, the weight changes,
Yep.
mood, my just mood all over the place, here, there, and everywhere.
Yep.
And the skin and the hair changes. Good gravy. Don't even
But
get me going on.
I've run out of fingers to count the amount of specialists I've been to for each one of those things. Now, bizarrely, I don't get hot flashes. I know, don't judge. I am cold, freezing freaking cold all the time. And I hate being cold. So it's not pleasant. But you know what I'm saying? Like, a dermatologist and like a gynecologist, on and on and on and on, because everybody's treating, and that's medicine today, period. Everybody's treating these silos and nobody has figured out, like, there are no menopause doctors.
Well, I think there are now, but guess what? Insurance doesn't cover them.
Shocker.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the crazy thing too. So I've had this whole journey trying to find a gyno because I had one that I loved and she went and retired.
Damn it.
And I was having so I found one that specialized in menopause, right? She was a little cuckoo, whatever, but she was all about the HRT. She was up on the research. She knew that the correlation between breast cancer and HRT wasn't this big scary thing like the study made it sound, right? Then she went and left suddenly. Like, I don't even know what happened to her.
Oh my God, you're cursed.
Then I had this crazy bleeding, this weird, and I've not had a period for 4 years. So sorry, listeners, you're getting all the information right now.
Yeah, no shame. We're out there.
My name is Karen Shatafian, and I am a shameless coffee addict and empowerment coach for women, and my love language is authenticity. My mission is helping women unapologetically design a life they're in love with. Because what the hell are we waiting for? My website, KarenShatafian.com, has all my coaching packages and free offers like my midlife reclamation guide. In it, you'll find tools to help you decide how to create the most inspired and empowered version of yourself and your life. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram talking about ways women can show up for themselves after decades of showing up for everyone else. Join me as we throw off the shackles and live our best freaking lives. See the show notes for all the details. Cheers. So I had to find another gynecologist like stat. So I found somebody that could take me relatively soon. And she tried to, I don't want to say shamed me, but she did not like the fact that I was on hormone replacement therapy before she even knew I have a history of breast cancer in my family. And she was really trying to kind of bully me into, well, you're not going to do, after your procedure, you're not going to be doing it. I'm like, oh, no, yes, I am. I kind of love it. So I'm going to be finding a new doctor. And
Yeah.
sorry. And she's a woman our age, right? So here's a doctor, woman our age, and that's part of the problem. It's like we as women go to the doctor to get help, to get relief, to figure out what the heck is going on because we feel like we're losing our minds and our bodies. And then they're like, it's all, just suck it up. And I think there's this whole idea that you're just supposed to suffer.
Yep.
Right? Dr. Sharon Malone, one of the leading menopause practitioners in the country, she's cited numerous studies that substantiated that we have just normalized suffering as a part of womanhood.
Yep.
Right? And I think we wear it like childbirth. We wear that as a badge of honor. Like, oh, men could never. Right?
Well, they couldn't, but that's a whole other topic. Anyways.
Right. Where's the lie?
Just saying.
But it's just, periods, cramps, PMS, all the things. And then menopause, right? And so it's you go to the doctor and more often than not, they're like, it's just a part of aging.
Dr. Kelly Casperson is another expert that was interviewed, and her quote is, with men, no one seems to ask them, are you suffering enough? Are you suffering with that enough to justify the treatment? Like, yeah. She has a really good section in here. I can't remember where it is, but she talks about like red flags for like finding a new doctor. And that's one of the red flags. And it isn't just Naomi Watts saying, like, she got the experts together. And one of the big red flags is haven't had a good experience with HRT, but are quoting that study or saying, nope, get off it like right away, and just not. And she said that is a sign that they are not up on the latest research, which is, a no-no with any doctor that you want to bring into your fold. So, like, I'm glad as hard as it is, I'm glad you're looking to find somebody else,
Well, and fun fact, my GP, who is a male, our age, he kind of told me the same thing. Like he didn't actually the gyno I saw, the female, she was a little worse. But he was
Jesus.
basically like, I don't really think you should be doing that. But you should go find a gyno, go find, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to you for my coochie stuff.
Pause. Well, and I wonder, I mean, this is not an episode on Karen's health, but I wonder if you find someone that's just like okay to do like your annual exams and all that kind of stuff, but you do telehealth with someone that may not be local that really gets it. I don't know, just an idea. The things we have to go to deal with this.
Yes. This was like a light bulb. My brain went when I read this. And I kind of knew it, but I haven't seen it just so succinctly. So, loss of estrogen causes dehydration in our entire bodies. Everything from your hair to your vagina, right? Your
Everything's
skin,
puckering up.
everything, your bones, like everything needs to be lubed up.
Yep. Essentially, the
right?
vat of oil.
How do you think menopause affects the way women see themselves?
Well, I definitely think that this whole idea of the shame identity is massive because, of course, right? Anything that I told you that story about my husband and I listening to a story on NPR and we were driving away and it's supposedly this like male gyno expert. And he's like, when you're talking about lady parts, we were like, what on earth? Are you serious? But that's the thing is it's like the shame starts early. Right? The shame starts early from like, oh, don't tell people you're on your period and da-da-da-da. I mean, I do feel like our daughter's generation they're a lot better about it. Like my husband was like, oh, he was going to the grocery store and he said, hey, G, do you want me to pick up my daughter? Do you want me to pick up some tampons? I'm like, I hardly think she's going to say that to you. And she's like, no, I don't have a problem with it. I run out, have them get some. I was like, bravo, girl. Bravo. Right. So I do think the newer generation is just like, no, I'm not here for the shame. But I still think that our patriarchy, Mark, safe from mentioning patriarchy. I feel like we need one of those like ticker tapes or boom, like Mark safe from, and then we'd sound it on each episode when like it rears its ugly head. We gotta
patriarchy sound effect.
Yeah. Like I'll see what I can do with that. But at any rate, so it all ties in, right? Just the beauty standard, how women are supposedly used up after just all the things. I mean, it really is honestly a fight to feel anything but this massive amount of shame. Like that's literally the place where everything comes from. And you have to do your damnedest to just separate yourself from that. And we'll get into this later, but she has an interesting way to picture menopause just in terms of a transition in identity. And I don't want to talk about it right now. We'll talk about it at the end. But just this idea of, I mean, you have to get to the point where you don't give as many forks, right? When the estrogen has left the building where you're like, I don't really give a shit. That's awesome. Please go buy the tampons for me. So, hopefully I'm a little better right now, where my 16-year-old can just like rattle that off. And she's like, no problem.
And I like how Naomi in the book was, and this was part of the thing that I was kind of alluding to in the beginning with her celebrity, because aging as a woman in Hollywood.
Oh, hell.
That's a fate
max.
Worse than death. That means no more jobs. Forget any, your career's over basically.
Yep.
So, and she went into early menopause. So that's even a double whammy for her because, that really was like a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Right? Because she's like, if I'm not this vibrant and fertile young woman, what am I?
Yeah.
I'm washed up. I'm used up. I can't play any like sexy roles anymore. Or, what does that mean about me as a woman? And I think too, I know we feel this way sometimes, but like when you do go through menopause and you're not ovulating anymore and your baby making days are done, which, we're happy about by the time we're 57, right? It's like nobody really wants to have babies.
We're good.
At 57.
Thanks.
But it's like, you grieve that part of your life, I think. Like, I did. Not that I wanted to have babies in my 40s and 50s, but that part's over and it'll never be back, right?
Yep. It's a different shift, So she tells this story. I mean, she lets it all hang out, y'all. This is she does not edit herself. And she literally tells the story of the first time that she had sex with her now husband, who's Billy Crudup, who's an actor, right? And she talks about how, like, they met on set, right? And she was kind of like, yeah, we were, playing these lovers, and then it just kind of spilled into real life. But she talks about how, like, okay, she's doing the thing that you do, like, when you're in your 20s, right? When you're like, okay, I'm going to wear the sexy underwear. I'm going to do the, right? Like, you're all like, she goes, and I'm in the bathroom and I'm trying to peel off my estrogen patch and I can't get it off. And there's
Right.
there's these little, like, sticky marks, and I'm trying to, nothing's taking it off, and I'm in there forever. She goes, he finally knocked on the door and was like, are you okay? Is everything okay? He came in and she was like, I'm just like, and he's like, what is the big deal? Like, I'm so glad that you're taking care of yourself, And so she talks about, obviously, that is a big thing that made her fall in love with him. But just this idea that, again, start with shame, add society, and the recipe is not good. Anyways, I love that story.
I do too, because he was just so, like, loving and just like, I don't care. It's fine. But I think that's what we do as women. We have in our mind all the things it means. What does menopause mean? What does this stage of my life mean? What does being 57 mean?
Yep.
And it's like when we can turn that off, and of course, then you have people around us who don't give two shits, then that makes things easier also. But when you were talking earlier about estrogen leaving the building, I think it is such a, what's the word? Perfect storm, because estrogen is diminishing. And as we've talked about before, that's what helps us, placate everybody and people please and really give a care about making everybody else comfortable and happy and sacrificing. So the estrogen leaves and we don't want to do that anymore.
Yep.
So I think it's the perfect storm because it's at this time when we have this ability. It's like things are changing anyway. Our body is all here, there, and everywhere, right? And so things are changing everywhere. So if we can harness that power and like decide, hey, who do I want to be? How do I want to be? What do I want to be? Right? We don't have to do the things anymore because the estrogen's gone and we can finally take care of ourselves or put ourselves higher on the list.
And she talks about shifting identities, right? And just this idea that, women, I'm trying to find the quote, but she says basically that women have been conditioned to, here we go. Women are conditioned to anticipate other people's discomfort, right? And like mind meld themselves into something else, right? And so anytime that happens, like she tells a story about when she was shooting a movie and she just found out she was pregnant. And there was not even a stunt, but there was a scene where she had to ride this motorbike, right? And most women, like, if you're newly pregnant, are going to be like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. But she wanted to kind of, right, convince everybody that she was a team player and she wasn't scared. Da, 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 da. Well, and then afterwards, she was like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, I did that just to, like, be one of the guys? Like, what's the deal, right? And so Dr. Jen Gunter is another one that is interviewed, and she's a big person too. But she kind of sums it up by saying, these fears that we all have. The quote is, I would say that those fears seem perfectly normal to me in the society that we're in. You're only of value to the patriarchy if you're a breeder. And then when you finish breeding, you need to shut up and go away, right? And then the other one that I was like, that quote, and then this one, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? She quotes one of her friends that she talked to was relating a story about how she was struggling with libido and she was like going to different doctors again, right? Like, shame. And she said that, her doctor told her, and I quote, when are women going to just accept the rhythm of life? You have your teenage years, you have your 20s and 30s, and then you have children. And now you're going into another part of life, right? So like just completely dismissing all of it. Like, look, you've had your fun. Like, move on and get your fucking knitting needles out and start baking some damn cookies. Like, what the hell is your problem? You're greedy, Libido? Come on.
Right. I tease my kids. I'm like, yeah, I'm not fun anymore. I don't like to do anything because you guys sucked the life out of me. Which is not true. Literally. But I want to go back to Dr. Jen Gunter. So she has, I don't think it's a Substack. I think it's just a regular email newsletter called The Vagenda.
Nice.
So yeah, I highly recommend it. I thought she was the one that was the vagina doctor, but I don't think so.
No, there's another person. I know who you're talking about. I can't remember the name, but.
I think the other thing too about this time in life for women and our identity piece, and I'll just speak for myself, I could not recognize myself. Like
Yeah.
physically, of course,
Yep.
I'm changing, which is okay. Like I'm okay with those changes, but mentally and emotionally,
Yep.
like the brain fog made me feel like I could not string two coherent sentences together. I couldn't remember anything. Like, I mean, I have a master's degree for goodness sake,
Yep.
and I felt like I was in the second grade. And again, not recognizing that that's a part of menopause, and then going on hormone therapy helped that. I mean, it's still not perfect, but it's way better than it was. And it helped me recognize myself again, or
Yep.
help me be like, oh, there I am.
Yep.
So I just think there's so many little things like that during this time of life for women that it's like, we just have to give ourselves a ton of grace.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that it's not just I mean, there's so many things that make you just feel like, "Who the heck am I?" Like, I could really relate. There was a woman named Liz that either she interviewed or was a friend of hers, talked about gaining a ton of weight in menopause and just not recognizing herself anymore. I mean, I was pretty open. We did an episode on being on a GLP-1. I'm on a GLP-1, and what tipped the scales for me is, like, it wasn't even about wanting to look good in a bikini. It was about I didn't recognize myself anymore. Like, I remember because I don't have a full-length mirror. I remember we went on vacation. It was the first time I'd seen myself in a full-length mirror in years, and I was like, "Holy shit." I mean, I would literally bump into walls and things because I didn't have a sense of where my body was really ending at this point because I'd gained so much damn weight. So it wasn't about I mean, yes, obviously the aesthetic is something that you think about, but that wasn't the primary motivation for me. I was just like, "Who the hell is this person?" Like, I don't know this person. I'm in someone else. It felt like I was literally in someone else's body. So I could really
Yeah.
relate to that piece. But there's all sorts of examples of this whole identity shift when you're just like, okay, pick an identity, none of which feels good to me, none of which feels authentic.
Hey there, I'm Lisa Corachella McDowell, your midlife Pacific Northwest princess, here to guide you in the art of next leveling your life. I'm passionate about women's health and wellness in midlife, especially for moms parenting kids with unique needs like I do. I truly believe we can learn, grow, advocate, and care for the planet while taking care of ourselves and our families. And I'd love to help you do the same. And I'm beyond excited to tell you about my membership for maxed out mamas just like me, the Empowered Parent Collective. It's a space for parents to confidently advocate for their kids, build inclusive communities, educate themselves, and find balance and support along the way. To find out more about the Empowered Parent Collective, my classes, wellness offerings, parenting tips, advocacy resources, and exclusive Drinks with the Girls goodies, head to nextlevellifewithlisa.com. Let's survive and thrive in the messy middle together.
I know a while back I shared with you, I'm pretty sure I talked about the rage room, right? Didn't I talk about the rage room?
Yes.
And people teased me a little bit for going to the rage room.
No.
I have to say, well, not you people.
No, I know. I
There
was
are
just
other
thinking they better not tease you or you'll take them to the rage room and show them what rage really
They're
is.
the reason I have to go to the rage room.
Thank you.
But I highly recommend it for everybody. It is so therapeutic. All women over 40 need to go to a rage room. But this is part of that not recognizing yourself because, especially as a woman who grew up being a people pleaser, and anger was bad. You do not show anger. You do not express anger. You do not be angry. That's just, no, you don't do that, right? So then when you get to menopause and you have this anxiety, you have this rage. I mean, just me? I don't know. You
No.
have this panic, depression, grief, right? And so you're just not recognizing your emotions because you're not able to like keep them all. Because, I was the queen of just like, let's just push them all down.
Yep.
Let's just push them all down here and they'll be fine. No. Right. And then thank goodness again, I mean, I know I feel like this is like the hormone therapy. I'm like the cheerleader, but it helps your mood and then it helps your sleep, which helps your anxiety, helps your depression.
Which helps
right?
your brain fog,
So,
which like on and on and on and on.
On and on and on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And a little teaser, Karen and I just committed to this before we jumped on, but I have an expert that's coming on that's actually one of my doctors. Y'all, I promise you, I'm not crazy, but this person is a dental sleep specialist that has something to say for all of us in menopause, postmenopause, I know you think I've lost my marbles, but I promise you when I tell you, my jaw hit the floor. I just had a consultation with him, and I'm really excited. I think he's going to be the first man to be on this podcast. So stay tuned for that. We'll tease some more about that later. I want to go take the HRT piece a little bit further. So we've been kind of dancing around this study, and if you've been living under a rock, essentially this study, quote unquote, that everybody was talking about was funded by, was it the World Health Organization? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
WHI. World Health Institute? I don't know. At any rate.
Yeah.
And it was this idea that, everybody does what everybody does with studies, and it just read the Cliff Notes and basically read from it, HRT is bad for women. And they never walked it back in any kind of public way. And so everything kind of exploded from there. Dr. Sharon Malone says that study almost single-handedly shut down research in menopause around the world for over 2 decades. And the people that were involved in that study have since walked back virtually all of their original scary findings with no press conference to inform us women and our doctors. So let me tell you, go back, listen to our HRT episode. We did another one on Ayurveda and menopause with the good friend of the podcast, Karen Basket. Like, there's so many things out there that are options for you. So if somebody tries to talk to you about that study, if God forbid a health professional tries to talk to you about that study, you need to press pause and be like, yeah, I'm out, because that person is definitely not up on the latest research. Like, that is an instant no-go.
And rewind, HRT was prescribed for decades up until that study. It was in the 90s, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and it correlated HRT with breast cancer. And then it was like...
Yep.
And
that was a mess.
I mean, so for like 20 years, women were suffering because they had health professionals that were not willing to prescribe it for them. And they didn't have... I mean, I remember because my mom had breast cancer at the time. So I was like, oh, hell no, keep that away from her and me.
Yep.
Right? So, yeah.
And now...
it's interesting.
If it shuts research down for 20 years, I mean, that's basically 40 years down the drain. People aren't taking it, and then no research to show what's going on. So there's all sorts of new research that's coming out. Like Mary Claire Harvard talks about some of the new findings, which is that women on HRT have lower incidence of, I think you say this, tinnitus? It's the one where you're...
ringing.
Yeah. Vertigo, frozen shoulder, which I don't know what that is, but it sounds bad.
You're so lucky. It's terrible.
What is it?
Your shoulders really, like you cannot... I could not take my shirts off because I couldn't raise my arm. It is so painful.
Oh, wait, is that the thing that happens, like, it's like here, and it just like you feel numb, and you can't, like... I wonder.
I had it when I was in my 40s, and I looking back, I only know, I was in perimenopause, which I didn't know at the time. I used to surf a lot, so I just thought I just used my shoulders too much, and they were tired. But it went on for months and months, and it was so painful. Like literally, I could not do this motion. It was awful, terrible.
Because I get stuck when I do too much hyperextension here, and it starts hurting here. I wonder if that's what it is. Sorry,
Maybe.
little diagnosis. Anybody who's watching us on YouTube just got treated to a little like mini exercise session. Anywho, research, palpitations, joint pain, and more. So all sorts of things. Now, the one thing that this is kind of my personal bandwagon, and Karen's too. The one thing I do want to communicate a warning about is that one of the HRT options, and it's an older one. I don't know that there's a lot of doctors out there prescribing it, but I feel like people need to know. So one of them is Premarin. And the way to figure out what this is you break it down. Pre-mer-in. Okay? It is made from the urine of pregnant horses. Now, this isn't about the ick factor. That's not it. But let me just tell you how this is produced. Now, I could go off on a whole podcast about this, but these poor mares are stuck in standing stalls, meaning they can't lie down their whole lives, and they're bred nonstop, kind of think puppy farm. Their foals are taken away from them. Then there's this massive like overproduction of horses that then don't have homes, and they're literally milked for their urine for most of their lives. So that's one I got to be vocal about, because I don't know how you don't look at that as cruelty to animals. Anyways, moving on.
I have to say something that I learned. This book just like put the exclamation point on it, but I've been slowly learning more and more. In fact, I just had a girls' weekend with my college girlfriends, and we were talking about estrogen cream. Because when I thought of HRT, I thought of the patch and progesterone pill, right? Yeah, who knew? There's a spray. My girlfriend was talking about the cream, and it's helpful in preventing UTIs.
Mm-hmm. And older women too, they say that if it was used more in nursing homes, that like you hear a lot about older women having frequent UTIs and that being a sign of like going downhill. Well, guess what?
Yes. And guess what else it would prevent? So because when you get UTIs, it makes you cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? And so that's what happens with older, frail women is they get a UTI, they're feeling a little loopy, they have a fall, and they break something. And then
it's all, and god damn, that's painful. I'm sorry. UTIs are just awful. You can't do anything at any rate.
Yeah. At any rate.
Moving right along. Okay, let's talk about the positive things a little bit.
The positive things.
Yeah. Freedom. Talk about freedom.
Well, I wanted to say one more thing. It's not negative or positive. The one thing I love about her is she gives you she gives you her personal story. She gives you research from people she's talked to. And then she's like, but go ask your own questions because menopause is not one size fits all and treatments are not one size fits all. And the other thing I love is she puts different things in here, like from Mary Claire Haver, is it her exercise routine or she gives like
the 7-minute workout thing? That was New York Times, I think.
Yeah. Or was it? But she gives like actual things to do.
Yes.
Right? Whether it's nutrition or sleep or what's the other one? Exercise.
Hence all the tape flags, y'all. Like,
yeah. The bottom line is read it, check out the expert she talked about, and then take that information to your doctor and figure out what is best for you. But you have to be assertive because a lot of times you go in and they're like, well, let's do your blood panel. And then your blood comes back and they'll be like, you're fine. No. Get second opinions, stay curious, stay assertive.
Yeah. It's kind of a journey and a haul, y'all. So unfortunately, but hopefully we're getting there. We are close to the journey to Drinks with Girls After Hours, our Patreon membership. But before we do that, I want to talk about some of the good things that have to do with midlife and menopause. And don't think that this book is like all heavy. It's actually really, there's really funny, lighthearted pieces in it. And, the scary stuff and the stuff that makes you angry, like it's told in a really good way. So don't feel like, oh God, this is going to be such a downer. It isn't. It isn't like that at all. But there are some good stuff in there. So she talks about gifts and freedoms that emerge from this time. So Karen, I know you're very passionate, underline very 30 times about this topic. So why don't you kick us off?
Well, I mean, I alluded to it a little bit when we were talking about like the identity piece, but this is the perfect time for a reclamation. Like this is the time when women get to stop saying, like, what do I need to do for other people? What do I need to do? What should I do? Right? And they can start asking themselves, what do I want? Because those are two very different questions. And I think a lot of times this is the first time that women have ever given themselves permission to even ask that question and answer it honestly.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
What do you think? What are some freedoms of this stage in life?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, again, we talk about this with our no forks given. I don't think we invented that. Somebody else did, but it's kind of become our symbol, right? Like, I just don't give a crap anymore to the point where I'm like, okay, suck it up. Like, I just find it so hard to get worked up about people's silly stupidity of like pushing us down. Like there was a guy that, I don't know if you saw it, but commented on one of our reels. No, I don't think you saw it because it was on my page. So we had an episode that just dropped recently on Walkaway Wives. The trailer dropped today, or the episode dropped today, rather. We have, reels that go out and stuff. You guys have probably seen them. And so some guy commented on it, was like, yeah, I know exactly what that is. I was with a woman who's cheating on me for 8 months and I didn't know. And then she divorced me and did it. And it's just like going like paragraph right? And I was like,
Wow.
oh, I can go so many ways with this. And I was
Right.
I retracted my clause and I went with, well, you clearly not listened to this episode because your response tells me that some of the things you're talking about are not at all what we discussed on this episode. So I would suggest that you listen to the episode. And in my mind, I'm just like, oh, it's on. I'm like ready to go. And I was like, okay, settle down. He's
That's
just
exciting.
a poor, dumb guy that,
Get a little drama on the Drinks with the
right?
Girls
I know.
YouTube channel.
And that was the other thing. I was like, oh, okay, right. Give us a little drama. And what's really bizarre, y'all, okay, speaking of comments, I don't mean to go off the rails here, but I'm gonna. Most of the comments we have gotten that have been controversial have been men commenting on our reels. Y'all,
Surprise.
this cannot stand. Please save us. We do get y'all commenting on, which is great. But like, there are some of them that jump in and I'm like, what? Like, some guy, it was our political episode, and he was just talking about da-da-da, and it was just like, now let me tell you. And I was like, oh God, here we go. Let me tell you, Missy. And our comment was,
Oh.
you're not our audience. Like, that should have been your first clue, was the female alluding in the title. And second of all, like, you don't talk to us like we're 3 years old, and you need to, like,
on here and mansplain to us.
Exactly. I was like, dude, get off my page. Bye-bye.
See patriarchy episode.
Good Lord. It was like, wow, you did not read that room. Okay. At any rate, I digress, sort of. So I didn't even answer your question. So I think that I will answer that question with another quote, as I like to do. This was one of my favorite quotes in the book. And so she says, the question I ask now is, what if women finally became free from misinformation, free from body shame and guilt, free from invisibility? Like, and we always talk about this, right? What the heck could we not accomplish if all that head trash was not in our way? And this is the perfect time, just like my mom Renee said, like, take out the trash, don't rent space in your head. All of this stuff, like, bye-bye. So to me, that's what midlife freedom is about. I just don't have to give a fuck, as Karen Baskett says, about all this stuff anymore. And God, I just think about how much it's exhausting. Like, nope.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
Okay, listeners, that's where we're going to leave the public conversation for today, because we are headed to After Hours, where we're going to talk about the things that women don't always say out loud, the things that we would tell women who are maybe afraid of this chapter, and the surprising things that we learn about ourselves. So in this episode, we're going to talk about what menopause has actually changed in our own lives. We're going to talk about the medical gaslighting around menopause. We're going to talk about how menopause affects your sex life and some other juicy topics. So join us over on Patreon.
If your interest is piqued, and we hope it is, because After Hours is where the podcast ends and the real conversation continues, pull up a chair and join us for the rest of the conversation. This is the part that is exclusive for our Patreon members. So if you'd like to join us, the link is in the show notes. And if not, as always, we are so glad you're here, and we will see you on the next one.
Well, we've reached the part of the conversation where we probably should stop talking.
But we never do.
We really don't. But hold up. You're probably wondering where the rest of this episode went.
I got you. This is why we have one brain. We've launched Drinks with the Girls 2.0, and it's over on Patreon. We've realized some of our best conversations happen after we've officially wrapped things up.
This is where you'll get the end of the conversation, plus early access to all the episodes so you never miss Last Call.
You'll get the stories we probably shouldn't share, the things we weren't planning to say, the random rabbit holes that somehow become the best part of the conversation.
Basically, all the stuff that happens when the microphones are still on, but we're no longer behaving ourselves, like that ever happens.
And best of all, you'll get in on the ground floor of the rocket ship that is Drinks with the Girls 2.0.
We've been teasing this for a while now, and it's finally here. You'll get to own your very own slice of Drinks with the Girls 2.0 and help us launch this sucker into the stratosphere.
So if you'd like to pull up a seat for one more round or join us for a coffee date, come join us on Patreon. The link is in the show notes.
We'd love to have you, and we're saving you a seat.
Wait, why are you still here? Head over to Patreon and join us now.